Hey everyone, I'm Jiasun, and today I want to present Don't Trust Verify, the case of slashing from a popular Ethereum Explorer, which is a work based on co-authored by Zhiguo, Jiasun, and me. So first of all, I want to introduce what is Byzantine fault tolerance-based consensus protocols. So there's very robust set of research has been published in history to prove some properties about some set of proposed like PBFT algorithm that would reach consensus in deterministically or probabilistically within a finite period of time. And so basically, consensus can be reached after like multiple rounds of voting, and the voting would contain the information or attestation about some previous observations of independent validators in the system or operators in the system. And usually it requires some assumptions about the system. For example, like a super majority of the nodes in the system need to be honest or following the rules. And so in recent times, like we want to make the blockchain permissionless, which means we want to allow validators to join it permissionlessly, and that system need to work under more like open system. And so that's why Vitalik and any other author proposed like proof of stake system, which is Casper, and to add additional properties that we want on top of the PBFT protocols. And the key properties of that is we want the system to we want this system. So this original traditional PBFT system usually is cryptographically correct, and it follows a set of rules, and based on that, it will be guaranteed to reach consensus and have the safety properties and liveness properties. Here we add the proof of stake, which is a crypto economics safety. So basically, in such system, we want to implement the slash. So slash is basically an abstraction of code that implements certain pre-specified logics. And we can imagine it to be like set of if then else statements. So if we observe some bad behaviors in the system, then we want to slash punish the stake. And the centralized implementation is definitely possible in theory. So like a centralized governor would be able to, that is always trusted, but we don't want the system to be trusted. That's the whole point of building a decentralized blockchain. So that's why we basically want anyone be able to submit slash proof, and the system need to reach a consensus on the slash observed behaviors, and then execute the slash properly. So that give us the question, like what is the contractible variables in the system? Contractible variables means you need to write the rules, which is slashing conditions. For example, if you do something bad, we need to contract it and write code to implement it so that everyone can reach agreement, because those nodes are machines that would follow specific rules. So if those events or variables are not contractable or too abstract, then there's a possibility that this slash rules won't be able to perfectly implemented and captured in reality. So because like the slashing behaviors is not a part of the PBFT. It's actually an additional layer on top of PBFT that enforces this proof of stake, the functionality of or the correctness of proof of stake system. So if it's not captured, then it won't get slash, and the system is actually will malfunction, even though it follows the PBFT on the underlying algorithm. Still works. So basically, we have this many proposed like different solutions, like proof of stake layer 1 protocols, optimistic layer 2 applications that try to as a valuable and actually functional solution. So And we kind of want to investigate in practice, like whether this slashable behaviors actually got slashed in reality, because from like the other two co-authors are have economic background, and since it's crypto economics, security is not guaranteed to have all the slashable behaviors slashed. So we do this empirical analysis on like 1.755 million blocks, and we basically check following the consensus spec, and we check whether there's double proposal, there's double attestation, and surround votes. And surprisingly, first of all, slash does happen. So this is a validator that got slashed because he did something wrong. So slash does happen, but we also find something interesting. So here is like, this is a double vote. So it's pretty small, but basically you can see like this validator actually vote for the same target, which is the frontier, which is the frontier block number, epoch number that he observes. And for the same target, he actually voted different signing rules or different block contents, basically. And so this is the yellow one is the same validator votes for the same target but different signing rule, and that's a double vote. But this validator does not get slashed. So if it's not slashed, then is there a consensus wrong? That would be huge. But I mean, it's also surround vote we discovered from this data, and this validator actually make a surround vote which should be slashed, and it's still not got slashed till today. So then we basically explore a little bit more, and we found like 75% like variation failed to be slashed. And if that's true, then Ethereum is like kind of, I mean, that would be kind of ridiculous, right? So, but maybe just explore about, because we use API, like the data is like there are only few like very large data providers. So we basically use one of the largest explorers data to get to analyze, and make some tweaks, of course, like, and the people like get back to us, and they propose like probably Explorer data has something wrong with like dealing with a phenomenon called phantom attestations, which is like when there's some subtle errors when synchronizing, when the node is fail to synchronize with the majority of the nodes. So what causes the phantom attestations, right? So we tend to believe it's not a consensus error. And so basically, first of all, cryptographic truth still works here. So Ethereum works is like it aggregates lots of public key. So it basically aggregates a public key. It uses like BRS like aggregate aggregation like verifications is cryptographic schemas to verify whether a set of validators actually all sign the same signing rules. And so basically you aggregate the public key. To get an aggregated public key, you aggregate the content, and you recover the signing rule, and you can prove that a set of validators actually sign the signing rule. So if we can prove that the behavior we observed before actually are that validator that misbehaved actually sign the two different signing rules, then we can cryptographically prove that this validator actually double votes. So we don't need to, but actually, what do we get is actually one of them is correct. So one of them is verified, but the second one is not verifiable, which means like that sign is not happening actually. So why that signing actually not happening, but it displayed on the Explorer? So that's a little bit more subtle, because that question, that basically we need to get deeper about like how the comedy schedule is, how the comedy schedule is computed. So it basically like comedy schedule is computed based on a previous epoch information, like there's a set of but the previous comedy is a local concept, which means each node locally would compute that. But that community schedule is not same for any node. So what we observe is the phantom attestation is produced by a node that observes some like delayed version of the previous epoch, and then it computes the community schedule and use that to encode, because the validator said that the voltage for the block would be encoded using the bits array, and so that bit array is produced based on some delayed data. So and then so that's why but the Explorer does not know that. So Explorer will basically recover it using the right community schedule that it thinks it perceives, and then it would produce the wrong results. So and then can we recover this wrong validator, because that validator number is actually wrong, but we actually can recover it. So we'll basically brute force all the public key and check which public key can make this verification, BRS verification works, and actually we can recover. So basically that thing happens, but it's different validator sign, and it just confirm that our thesis is right. Basically, it's because the validator, the community schedule is delayed and not synchronized with the majority nodes. So yeah, basically have a lesson. So basically, here is like Ethereum. So basically, yeah, Ethereum staking and slashing mechanism seem to working fine, and basically we have this we have this off-chance slashers slash all the slashable behaviors throughout the history of Ethereum, which is pretty surprising result, which is pretty like impressive result. And the honest validators, and basically, so we can probably argue that it's incentive compatible to the captured by validators as the idiosyncratic events. And even though they actually do not get rewards, it's the proposal who get rewards, not a slasher get rewards. So economically, there's some like tricky thing there. But we only do this for Ethereum. Ethereum is the largest, the most secure blockchain. We want to do it for other blockchain which we think it has a high probability of producing the wrong results and have some slashable behaviors not slashed, especially when the rules are not very clearly defined and contractable, and which we believe there's a high possibility. So also like there's also like basically induces an additional question, like the centralized info. There's so much, like we argue like the underlying blockchain is very fundamentally decentralized. That's true, but the problem is that all the services and the information aggregator built on top of it are completely centralized and produce the wrong results, even including some oracles that like some oracles that claim to be the most decentralized ones still are extremely centralized in today. So which is against the whole point of building a blockchain. And so yeah, and a deeper understanding of this consensus edge case would help us produce a recoverable and transparent data providers and data sources. Yeah, and this is basically yeah, that's it.
Yeah, thank you for this very interesting talk. Are there any questions in the audience?
A clarifying question there. What is the surround mode?
Yes, so a surround mode, yeah, so there are many online like resources which they also disagree with each other, because actually there's some like Go code that but it's different clients also have this small difference implementation. But in the official spec, it's defined as the source. So basically, the source and the target would be surrounded by any other source and target, voted by the same validator. So basically, if you vote like one source as epoch 1 and the target as 5, and then you vote again with source 2 and the target 4, then the 1.5 would surround the 2.4, and that is impossible because you have to reach the justified stage before finalize. So if you first observe, you first like basically commit to 1 and 5, then you shouldn't be able to produce like 2.4. So there is completing results.
Yeah, so here you have that it's incentive compatible to catch violators. Has there been any like formal analysis on actually looking at who's getting rewards from doing the slashing, where the rewards are going and how much rewards those are, and then how much, I guess, gas fees and opportunity costs they're giving up to enact the slashing to actually show that it is incentive compatible? Or
yeah, it's kind of backwards driven. So we analyzed the result, and in all the years, like I mean, Beacon chain is actually pretty young, but I mean, in the period of time, like Beacon chain, which is proof of stake chain version of Ethereum, run is like there's no single event that's slashable but not slashed. So that's why we think backward think that it's incentive compatible. But the truth is like the slasher basically volunteer. Nowadays they won't they get 0 rewards. So if they slash, so you can run some software, everyone can download, and it's similar to optimistic rollup, like optimistic bridge, where you any one of them, as long as one is like honest and submitted the proof, then the system kind of be fine, because you just need one person like run the software off chain and then catch the slashable behaviors. I guess probably Vitalik is running, someone is just running that, and then if you submit that, the proposal get the reward, or like and the slasher would be slashed, but that reward is not distributed to slasher now. I think that's last time I checked. Yeah.
I would also have. You go ahead.
Oh, because we're saying we're looking at the explorer. Which particular explorer is that? And relatedly, would you compare data from different explorers?
Oh yeah, so other explorer or data provider does not have the data we need to recover. That's the most detailed explorer, and that's the largest explorer for Beacon chart. It's called beaconchart.in. So it's beaconchart.in, and it's basically, I think it's the largest that has the attestation data, because all the other data sources don't even have the attestation data that we need to generate the cryptographic proof that we need. So and probably you need to run like a full node to get all of his data. Yeah, archive the node, or yeah.
So my question would be about the organized crimes that you mentioned here, that they are yet to occur. Could you elaborate a little bit on how those could look like in the context of validators slashing?
Yeah, I think Ethereum is the most secure chain. I mean, in some chains, we previously study, or I think we have some experience with, like it has already happened. And this chain, I don't want to mention name, but it's like already happens like hard many more times, basically based on this coordinate attacks and some on some certain software bugs. And so Ethereum, I think, so if you so I think it's lots of subtleties in the the consensus layer, and that consensus layer, if like someone submit I mean enough validators, I feel like it's basically the intuition that less than two-thirds of these validators need to could just do some attack that I actually think of one. Basically it's like you can basically, because it's validators are generating this vote, and in committee is smaller than so basically in the committee, if you happen to have this enough in validators in that committee, and you control two-thirds of that, you can generate the fake message to other in the same committee, and that whole committee would get the whole committee basically could get fake data. And since it's committee by committee, it's not all committee would vote. So in reality, since this kind of it's for it's for the efficiency, but it's then it takes less than two-thirds of the number of validators to make the system either misbehave or hard for a certain epoch. It could easily to hard one epoch, and then later it could go up because committee would rotate it and randomly. So you cannot consistently do it, but you probably can do one. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.